Another edition of the Coach's Corner segment this week. We have a special guest, Coach Austin Ambrose, head coach of Coker Men's Lacrosse. Coach, pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So just give the listeners a little insight onto about a little who you are and how you got here to Coker.
So I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Played high school lacrosse at Woodstock High School. Went on to play college at Reinhardt University. Loved my experience there. Got to win a couple national championships. It was a good time.
Yeah, so I guess being promoted to the head coaching role, kind of all of a sudden, not really having anybody else officially on the coaching staff. How do you deal with such a large group as the only real person on that head coach?
So basically, I was definitely pretty worried about it at first, especially since I was about to have my first child, not even a month into season. So I was very worried about it, but had the guys vote for captains, had 6 captains, and they've stepped up, where, sometimes I'm running off 3 hours of sleep. Samson's keeping me up, but, I bring them in. I'm like, hey guys, I'm gonna have to lean on you guys a little bit today. And they've come up to the task, and best group of captains we've had. I'm very, very proud of them.
And the one thing to kind of bounce off of that and everything like that, and this is something I've been able to see both on the sidelines and up in the booth and everything like that. It's one of those things where even the guys who aren't captains step up and make that extra role and everything like that and kind of make that difference for you and everything like that. So what is it like kind of having, those guys as well kind of be that extra that extra support and just know like it's the whole team who's helping out each other, not just the captains?
Absolutely. I might be a little biased, but I think I have the best guys in the world. Even the guys that don't play, sometimes they're more into it than the guys that do play. We have some great guys, some great freshmen that, are just kind of waiting for their time to step up. And, like when I'm selling Coker to recruits, like I'm like, hey, like as much as I can try to sell myself, what really brings a kid here is the quality of kids we have. About 2 weeks before my son was born, they were like, hey, coach, come into the locker room. I was like, okay. They bring me in there. They have onesies. They have distilled water. They have bottles. They have, and it's just not many 18 to 22-year-olds think like that. I've never been a part of a group like this, so I'm very thankful every day for them.
Yeah, and I'm sure as a coach under that pressure, I mean, the added pressure of having your first child has got to be something. I mean, obviously a very special thing, yeah. but the pressure with handling now a Division II lacrosse team in one of the toughest conferences in the country, dealing with that and juggling those things, to have a group of guys that is willing to do something like that for you shows how tight knit that group is, and I'm sure that helps, leaps and bounds. And so kind of playing off that, the tight knit of the program. Obviously, we've won the 4 games in a row leading up to the games this week. But before that, it started a little bit rocky, 1-4. So what was the conversation like in the locker room, and what do you tell those guys when you're going through a rough stretch like that to kind of empower them to get back motivated?
Yeah, we did go 1-4. Luckily for us, it wasn't conference yet. My guys were trying to learn a new offense. It was put in within 4 weeks. They were already running it. So it was pretty quick to try to do that. Mm-hmm. But they handled it well, and like I said, the quality of guys, like a lot of guys could have turned on each other, where my guys kind of just leaned in on each other, where I think that's what's put us in a situation to win some of these close games that we've had.
I mean, I can see it. I mean, myself, just seeing like the guys that have stepped up this year, it's like if it wasn't for all this adversity that we've been faced with, like I would have never thought they would do that. Like, I mean, especially Zaire, he's made crazy strides this year. Not like he's always been a stud on the field, but just like you can just see a new person in him this year. Like he's gets the guys fired up in the huddle. Like he pulls guys aside. Like, hey, good play. I mean, coming from like one of the best midfielders in the conference at that, it just really like if guys have an off game or he's dropping some passes. Like it's one thing to get on a guy, but then to lift him up, especially with you having that respect from the team, is really huge.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that helps when those guys know that the tough moments, they're coming from a place of love. So they're able to handle those tough moments because they know that the minute that they do something right, that team is going to be right there and praising them and lifting them up. So they're willing to go through those tough moments, the conversations that need to be had, like, hey, I did this wrong, I have to own up to that. They're willing to do that because, their teammates are going to help them in the low moments, and they're going to lift them up really high in those high moments. That's so important from a college athlete perspective.
Yeah, and just one thing that I want to add, kind of forgot it earlier, that Coach Jeff Faulkner has helped us out tremendously. He's our women's lacrosse coach, and I asked him if he could step into this assistant coach role for us, and he did. And the guys love him. They've bought into him. He has a wealth of defensive knowledge, so it's kind of allowed me to hone in on the offense a little bit more and feel comfortable that the defense is still going to be taken care of. So, huge shout out to him. He's gone over and above what he needs to do to help Coker as an institution and, help this lacrosse team.
I was going to ask about Coach Jeff, actually. Hey, what is it? And kind of like the workload and everything like that he's kind of helped take off and everything like that. But I assume just being able to split that workload with somebody and have that extra person, sort of that, I don't want to say sidekick, because it's one of those things where, I mean, when I look on the field and everything like that, I mean, same mindset coming from two great lacrosse minds and everything like that. And I got to assume having just like that extra person who, is also there and helping and knows the game as well as Coach Jeff does, is to go ahead and help you, has got to be a huge momentum booster for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's allowed me to, like I said, focus in on the offense. We split, for about 35 minutes, where offense on one side of the field, defense on the other. He's allowed me to hone in on that. He watches film with the guys. He, has allowed me to be with my son more. He's honestly couldn't be more thankful.
And obviously with that, and having Coach Jeff and everything like that as well. Well, again, having him watch film and talking about the defensive aspect, obviously would have been remiss if I didn't mention the two guys who 1 and 2 in the nation, and Connolly and Shepard, both of them 1 and 2 in the nation. Jensen, excuse me. Yeah, both of them 1 and 2 in the nation in cost turnovers. It's got to be a huge momentum boost knowing that when teams got to come to Coker and everything like that, or when they face Coker, they got arguably the two. Actually, not arguably. It's proven in the stats.
No,
the two.
Yeah, the two best. Yeah.
The two best
You
defenders.
Got it
The two best. They got to face the two best defenders in NCAA.
Yeah, they've been killing it this year. They're young. And it's honestly crazy what they're doing. With that being said, I think, they're still working on their game too. So, far from a finished product, I think that they're definitely some of our hardest working guys. And, two of our more humble guys, you wouldn't, if you talked to them, I think the last thing that they would tell you about is that, they're leading the country and cause turnovers. That's far from their mind. That it's about the win at the end of the day, and and just being a good teammate, and it does help too. It does help.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I mean, those two guys, they bring the heat in practice too, like just creating energy and competition of anything. I mean, Red, he's always going against his attackman. We've all seen it. Like, it gets intense, but I mean, he's only making the attack better. He's making the defense better, and it's just, I mean, they're so young too. It's just they have worlds ahead of them.
So we've talked a lot about the on the field stuff. So I would like to transition, maybe go a little bit off the field with obviously being a college athlete, the on-field stuff is one thing, but we are student athletes. So how do you, as a head coach, manage not just the on-the-field stuff, but making sure everybody's good in the classroom, making sure everybody's improving as not just a player, but a man, I guess, as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one thing that's huge about Coker is that the small class sizes. So pretty much right away, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, I'm getting an email from a professor. They're setting up meetings. No one's getting left behind. Obviously we have study hall and stuff like that. And we have some of our captains that work in the writer's studio. And, it's a work in progress though. It's we're trying to get that GPA up, and I think it's better than it's been. So.
And one of the other things that we talk about in terms of all field experience is obviously Coker as a whole was able to go ahead and lead everybody in community service and everything like that. For you guys, what has been sort of one of the better experience, or one of the best experiences, or one of the most memorable experiences you guys have had in terms of the community service aspect?
Yeah, so our team, they bring food to the food pantry from the Coker dining hall. So, just being able to help the community, I think, is huge for them. And it, it's humbling too. Like, it puts you outside of yourself. And, like I said, we have some of the best guys, so they're happy to do it. It's nothing that we have to force on anybody. It's something that, they take up pretty quick.
And having athletes who are willing to just go ahead and make an impact with not only just the community, but just in a sense making impacts on younger generation. That's got to be huge for a head coach and everything like that, because they're bringing in not just college athletes, or not just some of the college community to come watch, but they're also bringing in the community of Hartsville and everything like that, and bringing it closer.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have Trinity Collegiate Prep just got a lacrosse team down in Darlington. So one of the first high schools to get lacrosse around us. I've been talking to their coach a little bit about trying to get something together where we're able to help them. I think that, growing lacrosse in the area is, or just growing the lacrosse nationally, is something that all lacrosse players take, on their shoulders. Everybody's trying to grow the game. Whether it's the D1 level or, all the way down to elementary school, that I think lacrosse players they love the sport, and they'll do whatever they can to make it to where it needs to be.
So obviously for you guys, and we talk about the home field advantage and everything like that. I think for Coker and everything like that, that speaks volumes and everything like that. 4-1 at home and 2 home games left and everything like that. For you guys, I assume just having that home field advantage and, again, making Coker one of the toughest places to play at, that's got to be huge for you guys, especially coming down the stretch with 2 home games left and about 5 in general.
Yeah, I think that kind of comes from the support that we get from the school. We're not a football school, so we are one of, outdoor, we're the only contact sport. Everybody wants to see somebody hit somebody. So
yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day, I think that, just the contact of the sport, how intense it is. I think that that's what brings people out to our games. And really, I've been at some schools where some sports teams don't get along and support each other and all that, but not here. Like, it's weird. Even baseball and lacrosse get along. That's not something that's normal. At any school.
Actually, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I like in high school, we did not like each other, but here it's like everybody.
Yeah, and interaction that I saw is when you guys came through and beat LMU in that close game at home. All the lacrosse guys were getting hype and getting loud. Well, baseball was warming up for their game. And they all ran over to the fence on the side. It's like, it's y'all's turn. Like, it's y'all's turn now. Like, go take care of business. And it just shows the the community and the aspect, like you said, you don't see that very often. And
You don't.
And having that here is so special. And myself, I came from an even smaller campus than this. We had 500 people on campus. Like, it was super, super small NAIA. And so I was worried about that, leaving some place that I had known for 4 or 5 years and coming here to do my GA stuff. And it's been a very pleasant surprise that it's very similar to that aspect. Everybody's close knit. Everybody cares about each other. The whole campus supports each other. You see people from, different departments come to athletic events all of the time. The communication, the intertwinedness, and all that, like, it's so prevalent here. And I've seen that. I moved here 2.5 months ago, and you quickly pick up on stuff like that. So I guess that's a great thing to hear for, like a lacrosse athlete or something you're trying to recruit. It's so prevalent that people are willing to go out of their way and talk about it all of the time, and they just can't shut up about how great the atmosphere here is, which is so important to those kids, especially kids that are coming from a long distance away. Zaire, I think he said he's from Minnesota, right?
He's from California.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Further proving my point. And we had an acro athlete, Kaylin Francavilla, on a while ago, and she's from Colorado. And so you see people coming from all over the place. And we have a lot of international students and athletes and stuff like that here. To be able to create a family so far away from home and being so far away, sometimes that's tough. And I know that's tough for me, being 700 miles away from home. When you have a family aspect like that, it just, it makes it the world of ease to be able to have that transition.
That's ultimately what brought me here too. I was at Queen's University before playing lacrosse, and then it wasn't the best fit for me. So then I started browsing schools, and then I found Coker because our goalie Ethan Hofer, we're from the same hometown. So he's like, "Oh, why don't you come check it out here?" And so I knew a couple people here, and I got here, and it's just instantly everyone's so welcoming,
with open arms.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They're they did what can we do to help you come here? What can we do?
How can we ease your transition?
It was a worlds of a difference from visiting other schools, and it's just we as a team, we preach family, and that's no we mean that by every letter in that word.
That runs all the way through the school.
I've seen him. I've seen it myself. This team is all the stuff I've been through in the past year. This team's just really had my back through it all, and it's really amazing to see. Coach Ambrose surprised me with shirts last week.
Yeah, that was something else that I was going to bring up as well. Was that speaking of how tight knit and the community and stuff like that, everybody wore Hable Strong shirts, and they had them on sale and stuff like that. And seeing that as a team, everybody warm and warm ups, and how everybody's kind of rallied around you as well has been so awesome to see. So
yeah, Will means the world to us. At the end of the day, we love him, and it's just nice, he's the type of kid that'll do anything, for our team. As soon as this happened, he was jumping in with the video camera and trying to, he's doing anything he can to help the team. And, I think that, that's been a big success these past couple games is they see, how hard you fight, and it makes us want to fight back, and make you proud of us. And, I don't want to sit over here and get emotional or anything, but
y'all have made it. Worlds of a difference for me. Me actually me going through this, it's you want to be at home with your family, but I got 2 families, so it's when I'm at home, special. I was I want to get back to school and see my boys. They lift me up, and it's never a dull moment with these guys. Such amazing guys here.
Well, you do the same for us, Will.
Appreciate that, Coach.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we got a game this weekend. Big game.
Yeah, so, biggest game of the year.
We preached that earlier with we were going over everything, and Zaire mentioned it too. It's like you mentioned in practice, the next game's your biggest game of your life. And these next couple weeks are just a grind. You got to put your head down. But yeah, big game. Anderson at home, always playing close. Got the best of us past 2 years. So I know
It's time to get the best of them.
it's time. Yeah.
And the boys want it.
But yeah, we want it. Yeah, we want it bad. But
Yeah. And I hope that'll show on the field, and I think it will. When you want something, the whole mentality of a team is completely different from just any other game. So that's awesome to see.
yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, I haven't gotten a chance to say it this year. Actually, I've said it a couple of times, but I mean, for Saturday, the expression really does mean, I mean, it's a battle of the Titans this weekend in between Coker and Anderson. And it's one of those things where you could easily see this could be, I mean, the way the conference is and the way how tough everything is, this could be a matchup that, you know, it's March 23rd right now. This could be a matchup that we see April 23rd in the playoffs. So huge indications and huge playoff pushes for both teams for that matter.
Yeah.
Extremely important.
Yeah.
And
I'm
we're
excited.
going to lock in this week.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
I'm already. I mean, it's Monday. Monday. I'm already fired up for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the privilege to actually call that game on the live stream. So I mean, I was fired up. I did the last game against Catawba, and you could probably
Did a great job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could probably listen to it and tell I had some ties to the team a little bit.
Yeah, you
A little biased.
Yeah, a little bit. But
Just a little. You can tell the difference. I got on him a little bit at halftime because, you know, down 5, he's sitting up there and he's like just depressed, and it was coming through in his thing. I was like, look,
I wasn't depressed per se. I was like, I know these. I was just like, I know these boys can play better.
Yeah.
And we're just gotta get out the slump.
I had to remind him that no matter what happens in the game, that he has to bring some energy to the broadcast. But
He brought it.
yeah, well, the second half, he definitely brought it. I mean, it showed like he fed off of the energy that was down on the field, and the comeback there was crazy. So yeah, that was awesome to be able to see. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be back on. Hopefully, I don't get kicked off the mic this weekend. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But Diego Martinez will be up with me this week.
He's going to be commentating?
Yeah, I gotta
Okay,
work on
yeah. As long as we have a mute button sometimes.
Yeah, I might have to give him a little rundown before that. But it should be fun having two lacrosse minds up there. It'll be fun, but
Yeah, absolutely.
for sure. Well, on that note, I think we're going to wrap this one up. I appreciate you coming on, Coach.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all the work you do for Coker. It's
Absolutely.
some of the best in the biz right here.
Appreciate that.
Like you said, you know, it's easier when the community is strong, and you know we love what we do, and we feel the support of everybody else. It goes both ways, so we appreciate that for sure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you for coming.
See you practice.
See you in practice.